Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 10th day of April, 2023. Well, I finally did it. I planted seeds in some 6-packs yesterday. I still have a little more to do. I had to soak the hibiscus seeds overnight. They have to be, you either have to nick them each one, or you have to just scratch them on some sandpaper, and that's what I decided to do. I always worry that I'm going to take too much, when I clip a little piece off a seed, and maybe I'm doing it in the wrong spot. So I didn't want to do it that way this year. I did last year and it worked fine, but I don't know. So that's what I did, and I have to go and plant those and a couple of other, well, probably 4 or 5 different seeds I have left to do. But I did some yesterday, and that was very cool, and we're going to get some lights on them today, and the gardening season has begun. I mean, it really began when my husband did the tomato plants and the pepper plants. My pepper plants are about yay big right now, and we keep pulling blossoms and things off of them because we don't want them to do that yet. But they're going to get nice and bushy before we set them outside, and the tomatoes, they're just starting, and so I don't know. Yay. Gardening season has begun. Winter is sort of over. I don't know. We'll see though. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good weekend. And I hope you were either productive or you just took some time to relax, Lots of interesting things happening right now in the country, and to pay attention to, and sometimes that can be exhausting. So, especially if you've got stuff happening in your personal life, then you're really exhausted. So, it's like, can it just stop for just a day, even half a day, right? Let's take a rune and see what the as above side is of things. We have Hagalaz. It's one of the Norn runes, Hagalaz, Isa, and Nathiz. Hagalaz is the rune of the past. It's known as the witch rune. It's transformation within a fixed structure. So it's not completely giving everything away and starting anew. It's basically, you've got your values, you've got your principles, you've got your spiritual awareness, you've got all of those things, and now you just need some tweaking to go on. And so I tend to, it can be, it can be big tweaking, but at the same time, it's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So let's see what the below side of things are. Or is. It's Monday. I haven't been up that long. So I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, so we have a single dot for fire. Where's air? There's air, 2 for air. Oh, okay. And then 2 for the rest. All right. We have Laetitia. Is this Laetitia? Oh, it is. Okay. Laetitia's joy. This could be something about and we'll know more when I take the cards, and we'll see there. But this could be something about doing some transformation so that you feel a little more joy in your life. I don't know. We'll see though. I think that if we give ourselves away to situations and we stay in the reaction of it all, then we never really make that choice to either stay there or to walk away and give yourself some breathing room from something. Who governs, who controls the situation? Is the ego controlling it? Is the reaction controlling it, which is essentially the ego? Or is higher awareness controlling it? And, in this day and age, there's so many things to react to at some point just to control your stress level and to take care of yourself. You have to choose, you have to pick your battles. You have to choose what you put your focus on. And, just realizing that you can do that where you don't feel like you're succumbing to everything all the time. That may be the Hagalaz energy, where you take a look at who you are and what you believe in and what you value. And then you've got to decide, well, how am I either supporting that or hindering that by staying in the reactive mode? And so maybe that's what this is going to be about. But let's see. Let me move my chair up a little bit here. We'll see. I've done some shuffling already, and I just did some more. So let's cut the deck and see what we have. Well, I mean two from the minor arcana, but one's an ace, and so that has a lot of power. And one from the major arcana, we have the magician. I'm going to leave things in the order they are, and we also have the Five of Wands in the center. You know, I'm going to begin with the Five of Wands. I think I'm going to move the Ace of Swords to the center here, and because I think this is going to make some more sense, particularly in terms of move my keyboard out of the way here, particularly in terms of the rune Hagalaz. So let's go ahead and start with the, well, let me add here. Okay, see, 5, 6, 7. 7 again is can be thought to be the, well, it represents the scales in my view. And so you're letting things come to rest and observing, letting things settle out before you make a decision, letting things settle out before you react. And I know that's a tough thing to do. It really is. I mean, it is for me. You know, sometimes I'm just reacting all over the place, and I forget to just stop and go, okay, what's really going on here, and why am I getting upset? You know, and understanding the dynamic that's happening before, and then make the choice. Okay, is this worth it to me to be upset? It's that kind of thing, maybe. But here you have the Five of Wands. Wands reflects the fire element, and so that's the will. It's also creativity, the spark of life. It's initiation, it's motivation. The wands and the fire element, very action oriented. Think if you know someone who's an Aries individual, they're very dynamic. They're leadership oriented. They're very independent. It's that kind of energy. And so here you have some conflict going on. Now, it's interesting because nobody is actually hitting anyone else, although this guy appears to be connecting with this guy's staff, maybe. And this one here may be preventing this one's staff from hitting anyone. So we can look at this as the 5 denotes protection, change, innovation, variety, receptive versus projective presence. So basically, I tend to look at this as creative conflict. I don't see it as something, I mean, you can look at it as an argument, but what this is, it's like it's a battle of wills. Nobody's really listening to one another. People are just expressing themselves in a very forceful way. But again, you don't see anybody getting actually hurt. And I can't let go of that part of this. And that's why I say maybe more creative conflict, where everyone's expressing their ideas, but they're not really listening to the other. It's like, no, mine matters, no, mine matters. It's kind of one of those things. So something has changed where maybe the harmony has broken down, the sense of being on a shared path has broken down. So there's some change that's taken place. That's implied here. And what that can be, and what that can have to do, I think doesn't have anything to do with Laetitia yet, because that's joy, and good fortune and all of that. So I don't think we're there yet on that one. I think that's probably going to be more along the magician. I think that will probably have something to do with that card. But Hagalaz, again, with its idea of transformation within a fixed framework, you're not letting go of your own ideas, but you're maybe saying, okay, we're not communicating anymore. We're not in sync anymore. Nobody's listening to anyone anymore. So something has to change. So there could be something in your life right now, say at work or in the family or whatever, where you don't feel really, I mean, it's not that you can't express yourself, but nobody's really listening because everybody's talking all at the same time. And that's another thing that this reminds me of. Everybody's just interacting all at the same time, and nobody's really giving anybody else the space to simply say what they need to say with everybody listening. It's that kind of a feeling I have from that. So maybe there's something like that going on in your life. Maybe this represents a change for you. You're not really accustomed to this, and all of a sudden now it's like everything's breaking down and nobody's listening to one another. And it's not that there aren't some good ideas being expressed, but at the same time, there has to be room for people to say what they need to say. So allergy season is starting. But anyway, let's go on to the Ace of Swords. Now, the aces always start with the hand reaching out from the cloud in the Rider-Waite version of the tarot. And in this one, we see we see a sword in the hand, so that's the air element. We see a crown at the top with some garland. Now, anytime you see a crown, that's generally talking about spirit, about the creator, or something cosmic like that, something astral energies. So this is soul stuff up here. Now, you can look at this in terms of victory, like I was victorious in my little battle of wills. Maybe what you had to say did come out on top, so to speak. But at the same time, you can also look at this as new ideas. So out of the conflict, suddenly something comes up, and there's a new idea that can maybe resolve the battle. Okay? So we don't need to see this necessarily as a bad thing. Because let's face it, maybe you all have come upon this situation where everybody's got their idea of how to fix it, and nobody's really listening to the other people yet, because it's like, no, I think we should do this, or I think we should do that. I mean, it could be something like that. But somewhere in your life, there's that battle of wills, if you will, whether it's at work or at home or with neighbors or friends or what have you. Some kind of circumstance, you're likely going to experience something like that. Or it's happening right now for you. So there needs to be some kind of new thinking that comes in to be able to make sense of what's going on here, and for people to just sort of set down their staffs and just let one person at a time, give them the talking stick, right? Instead of having everybody have one at the same time, there needs to be one, and just pass it around and say, okay, you have the talking stick now, so we're going to listen to you, and as it goes around the circle, right? So basically, but the unseen hand, so either this is coming from higher awareness, or somebody else has come into the room and said, hey, what about this? Did y'all ever think about this? Maybe it's something like that happens. And then at that point, see, you have the magician comes in. The magician's an interesting card. You see the lemniscate above his head. He's holding either a scroll or a wand here, but see his wand is here on the table, so that's why it's probably a scroll, bringing the word of God or the word of spirit or the word of all that is. In other words, the greater understanding of the situation. The nice part about the ace cards is that they comprise all of the essence of the entire suit in one thing. So there's a sense of Genesis here, a sense of new beginnings here, or new understanding here, especially given that it's swords. And because swords is the air element, and so you're talking about intellect, justice, fairness, balance, deception, honesty. All of those ideas are comprised within the suit of swords. And so we don't really know where we're going with this right at this point. I mean, swords can have some difficulties in the suit along the way, in terms of expectations, in terms of being able to interact in a way that's balanced and fair, and appreciating boundaries, and respecting one another's opinions. You might disagree, and that's fine, but as long as you understand that there can be other opinions, whether they work out or not, it doesn't matter. Everybody has a right to their own opinion about something, and they have a right in a collaborative experience to share that opinion. And sometimes people don't feel heard, and that may be part of what's going on here. So again, the hand reaches out from the cloud with some new ideas, a new way forward in terms of interaction, maybe, and then we're going to manifest that here. And we're going to do it in an as above, so below way. This is anytime you see this stance here, you'll see it in the devil card as well. Only in the devil card, instead of holding a scroll here, or whatever you want to call this, up to spirit, you have the torch in this hand lighting the physical reality or the ego. And that's really all the devil card is. It's about being a slave to ego, a slave to reaction, and not understanding that there's another higher way, a soul level way of seeing something. You're just chained to that. And so how many people are chained to that, I don't know here, but maybe the new idea, the new level of interaction that comes out of this will bring forth something that maybe actually can work, can solve whatever's going on here. And then we can then manifest that from a higher level of awareness. And I think that this has got to be related to that as well. Again, it starts with the ace. In a sense, it's like it starts with the aces and then it devolves from there, you know. I mean, not completely, but that's, you got the mixture of that in the rest of the suit. And it doesn't matter which suit it is. It's the same sort of thing. And so you have the potential here, the undeveloped potential, very similar to the Fool. And so I believe that the aces have tremendous power, maybe as much power as the major arcana does, at least in terms of the minor arcana it does. But I just think that if it has the ability to bring in higher awareness to get you started, you know, something that has less to do with the ego and more to do with being able to see the bigger picture, and with a 7 numerology for the reading, standing back and getting a sense of that, I think really is part of this whole equation. And so numerologically, when you get like this, you've got to take a step back and wait for some new inspiration to happen. And then from there, you can then manifest something better. And I think in terms of the, and Hagalaz, of course, relates extremely well to the magician. And so does Laetitia, because what are we going to manifest? Something a little more joyful, a little more harmonious. So whatever harmony was lost here, it gets regained with the magician. But again, it's being able to step outside your comfort zone and allow for something else to come in. And I mean, even if it's one of the ideas from one of these guys here, but something profound has to happen with the ace. And with Hagalaz, you're talking that same level of profound transformation. It's significant. I mean, it's like even the littlest tweaking of something can result in something very profound, some very profound change. Just that one little thing that you do. You interact with a partner, and maybe you're using some words that are, and you use them consistently, that maybe are conveying you don't really respect that other person's opinion. And just giving yourself a moment to stop doing that and to fully listen and be engaged with that person and hear them can create profound change. Now, you may think in the moment, well, that's just a little thing. I just got to keep my mouth shut here a little bit longer and let this person speak, because who knows? Maybe they're going to say something that provides the answer to everything we're trying to deal with here, right? And or maybe part of the answer. But if you don't give them a chance, right? But in that moment, when you make that choice, that opens up the relationship to all kinds of things, where the other person didn't feel heard anymore, suddenly they do, and the change that can create can be very profound. So it may seem little, you know, just well, I just stayed quiet for a little while longer and listened, you know. It may not seem like much, but it can be everything, right? It can be incredibly transformative. And in this case, doing so can make people feel more in harmony with one another, more joyful when they're together, and more positive. And the other aspect of Laetitia, it portends good fortune. And so positive things then can result by accepting that there's a new idea that you can get focused on instead of this stuff. And from there, then, you manifest your experience, your new experience together. Here you see all of the tools on the table. These are known as the magician's tools, both in magic and in whether it's magician's stuff or witchcraft stuff. It's the same thing. They also represent the 4 suits of the tarot. But here you have the pentacle, that's the earth element. Here you have cups, which is water, swords again, which is air, and wands, which is fire. So you're manifesting in some kind of new balance. Uh, you have roses and lilies on the ground here. You have the rose garlands above, and again you see the circular nature of life, that lemniscate, that figure eight, where everything what goes around comes around. And so this is an ongoing issue that we need to address all the time, or at least periodically in our lives, where something is maybe changing and now we need some new ideas about how to deal with that, whereas maybe nobody felt too impassioned before to exert their will with everybody else doing the same. Maybe that wasn't the dynamic ever before, and now suddenly it is. So it's like, well, what's going on? What's trying to come to light? What's trying to be birthed? And here we have, it's the new ideas. Maybe it is. Maybe it's respect for the other people's opinions. Whereas suddenly you find out that it just kind of feels like nobody's doing that right now. Well, we need to get back to a better situation, where people are respecting the other opinions around them. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that your idea won't be the one that people adopts. It could be that, but at the same time, maybe a collaboration needs to happen where you're taking care of, your idea takes care of one aspect, another person's idea takes care of another aspect, and et cetera, et cetera. And eventually you come together and create something, that manifests a new level of awareness, basically, a new way of behaving with one another. It just depends on what the situation is, but at the end of the struggle, and then the transformation that takes place with the ace, we have some joy and some fellowship and some harmony again, and we do that by actively manifesting that, by agreeing that, hey, that didn't feel so good, let's not do that again. If we feel like that we're not hearing one another anymore, let's stop and let's take a look at what's really going on, and maybe everybody go back to their corners for a little while and think a little more, and then we agree to come back to something. It could be anything like that. And so I think that that's kind of an easy one here for Monday. But at the same time, if this is something where, this is concerning, then there needs to be something where everybody stops, everybody takes a look at what's going on here, and is this really the road we want to be on to try to fix whatever it is we're trying to fix? If people are deciding, okay, what new endeavor to work on, or what new opportunity to work on. Maybe everyone's got their own ideas of what that looks like. And at some point, everyone's got to settle down and come to some agreement. And that's where the Ace of Swords comes in. And from there, you manifest. You've got the one energy of the Ace, the one energy of the Magician. That's new beginnings. And so out of some change that has happened, so maybe some creative conflict that's happened, some different ideas can come forth, and some new experiences can be manifested. So I think that just being willing to take a look at things, letting things settle out with this whole 7 energy, letting things settle out and seeing where you are, and allowing for some kind of shared idea to come forth. Where you can all get on board with it and see where that takes you. Now, if it doesn't take you where you need to go, then it's back to the drawing board. But at least you've made the decision together about what it is you want to do. Even if you end up using this as a catalyst to go your own way, the new ideas come forth. You get an idea, you're going to go this direction. The swords and the air element can also indicate direction, and that you're going to manifest something new, from maybe a little more higher awareness. So again, this can go in different ways here, I think, today. But ideally, I think I'm just going to read it as there's some creative conflict where nobody's listening. Everyone needs to step back and wait for some inspiration here to gel, and it does. And then you can move forward and manifest things in a way that can bring you back into some harmony and some fellowship and some joy with the people that you're with. So I guess that's it. We didn't do too bad. for a Monday. Well, I have everything came out on the blog, the Exploring Tarot, Daily Correspondences for Work and Magic, and the Week Ahead, out on the blog midnight hour last night. And everything's out on Substack. If you follow me over there, thank you. If you follow me over on Medium, again, thank you. The stuff's up there too. And also if you follow me on Patreon, thank you very much. And if you've clicked subscribed here, that's awesome. I appreciate that so much. If you haven't, I'd love you to do that. And check out my blog, Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, you can, just below the video, there's a little thing that says more. Just click on that. It opens up a window. This little box comes up and it shows you, it'll show at the top, it shows the website address. And then there's a little description of what I do here. And then down below that, you'll find some more links to where I am. We'll see how the week progresses until we meet again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Again, thanks for coming by. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.